Here's the honest truth. There is no officially confirmed vehicle called the 2027 Audi Q Jetour Fairy. What this seems to represent is the growing crossover space where design language, tech philosophy, and market positioning between German luxury brands like Audi and ambitious Chinese manufacturers like Jetour are starting to blur. And that actually makes this concept more interesting to talk about. Because what the so-called Q Jetour Fairy reflects is a new type of SUV mindset. One that mixes premium European restraint with the digital-first, design-heavy approach coming out of China. Spend some time analyzing where the market is heading, and you'll notice this emerging middle ground. Traditional Audi SUVs like the Q7 still lean on mechanical credibility, proper engines, understated authority, long-distance composure. Even in modern comparisons, they remain firmly in the executive performance space with outputs reaching around 340 horsepower and strong torque delivery from turbocharged V6 setups. Auto Jetour, meanwhile, is playing a completely different game. Their products tend to focus on tech value, comfort, and visual impact, often prioritizing digital experience and design presence over outright performance hierarchy. In side-by-side comparisons, the gap is obvious. A typical Jetour model may use a 1.5-liter turbo with around 156 horsepower, targeting accessibility rather than dominance. So when people imagine something like a Q Jetour Fairy, what they're really describing is a hybrid philosophy. And that's where the strongest point lies. The idea of merging Audi's mature road behavior with Jetour's willingness to experiment could genuinely appeal to a new generation of buyers, especially in markets that care less about badge heritage and more about perceived innovation. Think sleek lighting signatures, lounge-like cabins, and electrified drivetrains wrapped in a shape that still feels premium rather than playful. But there's a weak point too: identity. When you try to fuse two brand philosophies that evolved for completely different audiences, you risk ending up with something that feels derivative instead of distinctive. There's already growing discussion in enthusiast communities about how some newer SUVs from emerging brands visually echo established icons, sometimes too closely. One commenter even joked after buying a Jetour that they were confused for a second, mistaking it for something else entirely. Reddit. That's not a criticism of engineering, it's a question of originality. The most interesting detail in this imagined space is how quickly the market is normalizing the overlap. A few years ago, the idea that a Chinese SUV could compete for the same buyer mindset as a German luxury brand would have sounded unrealistic. Now, even casual owners are openly saying that these newer vehicles deliver smooth, comfortable daily driving that meets real-world expectations, especially in urban environments. Reddit. In other words, the Q Jetour Fairy isn't really a car. It's a signal that the gap between heritage luxury and tech-driven newcomers is shrinking faster than many expected.